In the quiet heart of Melbourne, a man begins a journey, not to escape illness but to understand it. What starts as a mysterious swelling in his throat soon reveals echoes from a past life, a life marked by betrayal, regret, and karmic consequence. Through hypnosis and the healing touch of Reiki, he faces the soul of who he once was and who he must now become. This is a story of memory, energy, and redemption. This is Karma Not Come from the Snake. Chapter 1: The Swelling Fear. Callan Moore had never feared silence until it started to speak. 33, he lived quietly in the suburbs of Melbourne. Nothing grand. A small flat above a cafe. A routine life, predictable, peaceful. Until one day, he stood in front of the bathroom mirror, tilted his head and saw it. A lump. Subtle. On the side of his neck. He touched it. Swallowed. And fear, that quiet kind of fear, moved in. He went online. Read everything. The words hit harder than they should have. Silent killer. Late-stage symptoms. Missed signs. He couldn't sleep that night. Doctors ran tests. Blood. Scans. Needles. Then told him they weren't sure. Come back in a month, they said. A month? That month stretched like an echo chamber. Every breath became a worry. Every swallow a reminder. He tried diets, herbal teas, mantras, silence. Nothing eased it. Then a friend mentioned something unexpected: regression therapy, energy work, Reiki. He almost laughed. But one night, after hours of staring at the ceiling, he clicked a link. The website was simple. One quote stood out. The body remembers what the mind has forgotten. That night, he booked a session with Palmer. And so it began. Chapter 2: The Servant's First Sin. Callan lay still, eyes closed. Palmer's voice guided him inward.
Breathe in and out. You're safe. Just watch.
Heat. Sand. A sun that never forgave. He was no longer Callan. He was her. Nefrit, 16. A servant girl in ancient Egypt. Barefoot. Hands rough. Knees bruised. She moved in silence. She listened. She obeyed. But inside, she burned. She served a mistress named Cassina. Beautiful. Cold. Powerful. First, Nefrit admired her. Then envied her. And then hated her. One night, in secret, she crushed herbs into powder. Poisonous. She added it to Cassina's bathwater. But the maid changed the water. No one noticed. No one suspected. But Nefrit knew. Her heart beat like a warning drum. Callan stirred. Palmer whispered, "Just observe." He watched Nefrit sit alone in a dark storeroom, fists clenched. First attempt had failed. But the fire inside her had only begun to rise. Chapter 3: Under the Pillow. The next session began in silence. Callan's breath was steady, but his spirit knew what was coming. He dropped back into Nefrit's world. More time had passed. Her hatred matured. Quiet. Focused. Another attempt, a poison needle, failed again. No one saw. No one punished her. But she was done waiting. She found a snake, small, deadly. She kept it hidden in a jar wrapped in cloth. That night, as she turned down Cassina's bed, she slipped the snake beneath the pillow. She bowed, walked out, and waited. Screams shattered the air. Chaos followed. Servants ran. Cassina's lifeless body found. Nefrit watched. Silent, unmoved. She was taken 3 days later. Callan gasped, the rope tightening around Nefrit's throat. The fall. The struggle. Palmer whispered, "Step back. You're just watching now." Callan's breath returned. He floated above, watched Nefrit's soul rise, pale, soft, glowing. She looked down at her own body swinging and felt pity. Not regret. Just sorrow for the girl she had once been. Chapter 4. The Karmic Loop. Callan didn't return for weeks. He journaled. He remembered. He questioned. Was he really her? The lump in his throat remained. Not worse. Not better. But different. He met Palmer again. They sat in quiet. "Do you believe she was you?" Palmer asked. "I felt her," Callan whispered. "All of her." Palmer showed him a diagram, the throat chakra. "This is where truth lives," he said. And silence. And guilt. They traced the pattern. Nefrit killed with poison to the throat. Nefrit died by hanging. Callan's illness now lived in his neck. "Karma doesn't punish," Palmer said. "It remembers. It repeats until we choose differently." That night, Callan wrote in his journal, "I was not a monster. I was a child who made a terrible choice. Now, I choose differently." The next morning, he called Palmer. "I'm ready for the healing," he said. Palmer replied softly, "Then let us begin." Chapter 5. The Hands of Light. The room was dim. A soft lamp glowed in the corner. 2 candles flickered gently near Callan's head. He lay still on the Reiki table, wrapped in a thin blanket. The hum of ambient tones filled the space, slow, steady, like breath made into music. Palmer entered quietly. He said nothing. He just stood at the head of the table, his hands hovering inches above Callan's throat. Palmer began by connecting with the symbol Hanshaze Shonin. The link was immediate, as if time itself folded inward. For a long moment, nothing. Then slowly, Palmer followed with Reiki, guiding the energy toward healing emotional wounds and easing the echoes of ancient suffering still held within the soul. Finally, he invoked Ku-Rei, amplifying the flow of Reiki, sending it precisely where it was most needed. With each gentle motion, energy blockages began to dissolve, replaced by a quiet sense of release and deep, calming peace. Warmth rose. Callan couldn't tell if it came from Palmer's hands or from somewhere deep inside himself. But it spread, from his throat to his chest to his arms. And then something opened. In his mind, Callan wasn't in the room anymore. There was no desert, no execution, only light. It shimmered around him, soft, golden, like sunlight underwater. And there she stood, Nefrit. She wasn't angry. She wasn't ashamed. She was just still. Callan walked toward her. No fear. No blame. She looked at him, eyes that had lived too many lives.
He knelt. I'm sorry, he whispered. Not from guilt, but from understanding.
You were hurting, and so was I.
Nefrit didn't speak, but one tear made of light fell down her cheek and vanished. In its place, a white blossom bloomed, and then she was gone. Back in the room, Palmer moved his hands down to Callan's heart. The heat softened, now a breeze through tall grass. Callan breathed slow. He didn't feel healed, but he felt whole. When the session ended, neither of them spoke. Eventually, Callan sat up. He touched his throat gently, not to check, just to acknowledge. How do you feel? Palmer asked. Callan smiled faintly. Like I've stopped fighting myself. Palmer handed him a folded paper. 5 small things, he said. Acts of kindness. Offer them to the world and to her. Callan opened it. 1. Plant a tree. 2. Write a letter to someone who hurt you and forgive them. 3. Volunteer 1 afternoon a month. 4. Speak honestly even when it's hard. 5. Light a candle and bless the one you wronged. He folded it and placed it in his pocket. As he stepped outside, the wind kissed his face. He looked up, and for the first time in months, he swallowed without fear. That weekend, he walked into a local community kitchen and asked if they needed help. They did. He chopped vegetables beside an old woman who told stories of raising 7 sons. He laughed more than he expected. As he left, a little girl ran past him. She stopped, turned, and smiled. Her eyes held something ancient. For a moment, he thought of Nefrit and smiled back. The past can't be changed, but how we carry it can. And sometimes, light isn't what burns away the dark. It's what lets us finally see inside it.